Spice Lottie, we're back for the autumn. And we've got a good one for you. Yes, later we'll have music right over there from Jack Savaretti and Miles Kane. Yeah. They'll be performing a track from Jack's latest album. But first on my sofa tonight, since his BAFTA-winning role as Morris Boss of the IT Crowd, this actor, writer, and director has continued to stare at the camera with his arms folded in the likes of Travel Man, The Crystal Maze, and as presenter of the BAFTAs. His latest book, The Unfinished Farrell to Use, has been described as Nabokov meets Spinal Tap. It's also very funny, like its author, Richard Ayoade. This Irish superstar has played opposite so many acting greats. Tom Cruise, Al Pacino, Nicole Kidman, and my personal favourite, Jenny the Donkey. Oh. And obviously the Banshees of Inisherin, which last year won him a richly deserved first Oscar nomination. Now he's unrecognisable and brilliant as supervillain turned crime boss, the Penguin. Please welcome the great Colin Farrell. The scene as part of the 80s Hollywood Brat Pack, going on to become one of the biggest film stars in the world. Like Indecent Proposal, A Few Good Men, G.I. Jane, and the iconic Ghost. Now, she is giving an extraordinary performance as Elizabeth Sparkle in the body horror comedy The Substance, which critics are saying is, I think they like it. It's a pleasure to welcome for the first time, Demi Moore! Superstar, an actor, a fashion icon who's won 13 Grammys, 2 Golden Globes, a BAFTA, and an Oscar for Best Original Song in A Star Is Born. Now, she's striking up a bad romance as Harley Quinn in Joker Folie à Deux. It is a warm welcome back to the one and only Lady Gaga! Sometimes there's buyer's remorse, but not today. They're happy. They're happy. So it's a welcome back to Richard, Colin, and Lady Gaga, but a first-time welcome to Demi.
Thank you. So happy to be here. I feel like I finally made it.
Yeah, right. This is it. Now, you have been traveling all over the world promoting The Substance, but you haven't been alone. You've been upstaged at every turn.
Yes, I have a significant other.
Yes, I think we've got
special significant other.
We've got a picture there.
Oh.
This is what's Pilaf?
Wait till you meet it.
It's Pilaf the little mouse.
Pilaf the little mouse.
Yes.
And is it a male mouse or a female mouse?
It's a female.
But here's the thing. So
I want a selfie with it.
Yeah.
Well, and it is photogenic. Pilaf is very photogenic because has done a cover shoot.
Yes, I knew that she had really moved into a whole new category when my publicist got a call just for Pilaf to be on the cover of Dogue.
Dogue, you know.
Dog, is there really a dog?
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, it's Vogue for
There it
dogs.
is.
There is.
I got that part.
Have you got a friend in your house? You must.
Not yet, but I plan to.
And that's the size the dog actually is.
No, but honestly, why did you leave her out in the snow? Pilaf isn't on set yet.
No, but she is here.
Shall we? We ought to. Oh,
jeez, just look at. Can we mic the dog? To hear her heartbeat.
Hi. Oh, you're so good. Oh,
she's so weird.
This is.
You have treats in your pocket.
No. She's just an equal opportunity receiver.
Now, does Pilaf understand this is television, so she ought to piss? Really? And that would go viral for us. I don't want to touch Pilaf.
I had a feel backstage.
Yes, you did. You had a feel backstage.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm afraid I'm going to hurt her.
I know, isn't she so fragile?
Oh my God, she's so little.
She's a stealer. She's a scene stealer.
The tongue is amazing.
I'm right here.
How old
She's
is
so
Pilaf?
cute.
Pilaf will be 4 in November.
Wow. I don't mean this rudely, but looks older.
She had to. She didn't have a full set of teeth, and she had to lose some, hence why the tongue does not stay in.
Oh, no way. Right, okay.
She's
God.
perfect.
But if I ever get one, I'm having the teeth pulled straight away. So cute.
Should we let Pilaf relax?
Yes, I don't want her to steal everything,
Yeah,
so
no,
here
no,
we go.
yeah.
I'll take her
Oh,
back.
there
Yes.
she goes. Pilaf, everybody. Come on. I love that I have this level of couch, but a very small dog. Shit all over everything. Now, Richard Ayoade, you are here tonight as an author.
Thank you.
But you are also a director of films. Have you worked with any of the people on the sofa?
I have not. I have sent Colin a script. Which I told you I was yet to read. No, the good thing is because we were both on this, you had to read it.
Totally. Is it a no yet?
Yes, you had to read it, because otherwise it could have been awkward. And obviously,
That's the gospel.
I'm pretty handy.
I said to him, I said...
And commanded him some fisticuffs.
Yes, I said...
And
Marcus of Queensbury rules, of course.
He's agreed to do it for no money, which is very nice.
That is Colin.
Anytime you want, I'm there. I will not take a penny. So, Colin's words, not mine.
All right, we're going to start with Lady Gaga's new movie, Joker, Folie à Deux. I know. It opens in cinemas on the 4th of October, and this is the sequel to Joker, starring Joaquin Phoenix. And you play Harley Quinn, but what version of Harley Quinn is this? What can you tell us about her?
So I play Lee Quinzel. That's my version of Harley Quinn. And, this movie, this story really centers around Arthur Fleck. If you saw the first film, you know him. And in the first film, Todd really slowed down to take a look at Arthur Fleck's life, somebody that maybe would get pushed aside or passed by on the street, and you really got to see who he was and what made him Joker. So in this film, he meets Lee, my character, and they fall in love. But she's like very different than the Harley Quinn that everybody has known before. I tried to root her in the reality of this film and create Arthur's match. Who would be the person that he would love if he stopped for a moment to talk to her? What would be the storm inside of her that would make her catch his eye? So that's my Lee. She's got a little bit of a hurricane inside her, like the ground is shaking all the time, or bombs go off in her, you know.
Listen, we've got a clip. This is you as Harley visiting the Joker, played by Joaquin Phoenix, in the asylum.
This is gonna be good for us. Now I can be at your trial every day. I can see you every day until you get out. And then we're gonna build a mountain. I wanna see the real you. It's just us now.
Here's the thing, that scene where you're putting the mask on the Joker, and I heard you talking about this, that in ways you really relate to that idea of wearing a mask and how that can help you in your life.
Well, I don't know if it helped me. I've always kind of had a relationship with dual identities through my music and creating characters on stage, which was maybe unconventional to some people, where, playing an actor in a film makes a lot of sense, but everybody wants to kind of see you be yourself on stage, and I am myself on stage. I'm just also something else. And so I was really interested in making this film because Arthur is this kind of incredibly unique person who has this affliction that he suffers with, and the way that people treat him where he lives in Gotham, Joker is kind of like a symptom of his conditions. And I just thought that was a really beautiful way to tell the story of Joker, and I thought it was also beautiful for a love story. Who would be like the complex woman that would love him completely, who would, to me, love Joker and love Arthur too.
And Lady Gaga, as one would hope, music in Folie à Deux. But am I right in thinking that when this goes out on Friday night, by the time that happens, there will be a new Lady Gaga record in the world?
Yeah, so I was really inspired by my character Lee and all the music in the movie, so I decided to make my own album called Harlequin, inspired by her. And it's all original productions that I did. to basically like define her without defining her at all. There's a lot of jazz influence, and I take you through like so many different genres on the record. To me, Harley like cannot be pinned down. She's a woman that can't be defined. So I was sort of saying, you know, I'll be jazz when I want to be jazz, and I'll be funk when I want to be funk, and then I'll be soul, and then I'll be blues, and then I'll be church, and I'll be whatever I want to be whenever I want to be it. Because I think women, you know, we want to feel that way sometimes.
The truth is, we aren't any one thing. We're a lot of things.
Yes, we are, and we can be all those things at the same time. And
Well, the album is called Harlequin, and I think we've got the cover art there. But also, I was lucky enough to hear the album. It is so, because it's not the soundtrack, it's such a joyful album.
Thank you.
From what is, you know...
She's super happy.
It's, I mean, over the moon. But it is a really, it's a joyous thing to hear you sing these words.
Thank you. I think it's great, a great record for like if you're having dinner with your friends and one of your crazy holiday parties. It's meant to be music to have fun to. But it's not the soundtrack. It's a companion piece to the movie.
And now, talking of singing, we saw you at the Paris Olympics.
Yes, that was me.
Yeah, that was you. I mean, you know, as a superstar, do you go, really, in the rain, I'm doing this? Like, because it was properly raining.
It was properly raining, but the most crazy thing was that they insisted that the staircase be carpeted for the performance, and it was raining, so it was wet carpet in my underwear. So, you know, if anyone wants to perform on TV in their underwear on a wet carpet, call me.
But now, it was the Paris Olympics, but there was an extra ring.
I see what you did. That was good.
No, because you got engaged.
I did.
Did you get engaged? That's last night.
We got engaged actually on April 1st. Actually, I thought he was joking. He was not. But yeah, it was really nice. And then we went to Paris for the Olympics, and the Prime Minister actually like had his like people filming us while they were like saying hello, and they caught me saying, "Oh, this is my fiance," and I was trying to keep it hidden, but then you know they announced it to everyone. But that was kind of fun.
I like that you get the full Team USA thing by going to the Olympics. It's good.
It was great. The women were awesome.
Very quickly, Dana Gaga, I must say, in Joker Folie Deux, obviously you're marvellous, Joaquin Phoenix, but we must mention some of the other cast. A close friend of Colin's, Brendan Gleeson.
Yes.
Yeah, he's in it as well.
I loved working with Brendan.
Me too.
He's so sweet.
Yeah,
really, really cool guy.
And did you know him when this happened?
Look at that.
Okay, you know, I was doing like like that sweet thing when you see someone, you go, "Oh hi," you know, and then that happened.
He saw you puckering up, and he went,
Yeah.
"Okay."
Yeah.
His eyes are wide
He's
open.
my
He
friend.
wants to remember this moment.
He knows exactly what he was doing. Like
Not to
that.
mention his right hand.
Yeah.
Oh,
Perfect. It's
yes.
just like pre-tango.
Mind you, you found yourself in a similar clinch.
Go on then. That's where I got COVID.
He's a
Fact.
he's a
Brendan the super spreader.
Yes. Back of the head.
Hand on the back of the head. You're gonna get it, son.
I want it all in there, yeah.
That was in Nando's as well.
But it is a terrific cast up, just a brilliant movie. Joker, Folie Deux, is out on the 4th of October. Yeah. Okay. All right, we're moving on to Demi Moore's extraordinary new film, The Substance. It is out now, and if you haven't seen it, it has to be seen to be believed. So
But I highly recommend don't see it alone.
I saw it alone.
I know. But, you know, you had
I still
someone...
enjoyed it. I still enjoyed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just good to have someone with you to witness it, just so that you can go, oh my God.
It's just a bonkers film, a brilliantly bonkers film. How are you describing it to people?
It's actually almost impossible to fully describe.
And you don't want to give it all away, yeah?
No, but the general kind of gist is one that it's dealing with aging. And it, you know, I play a woman who is being fired from her own show, an actress who has a fitness show because she's aging out. And in this kind of gets, you know, sees her face being ripped down from a poster of her campaign. So everything, she's at the lowest point of her life, and is offered a substance for a newer, better, younger her. but unbeknownst to her, that is not me that transforms. It's another entity that comes out of me.
It's like a young clone.
We share consciousness.
Where can I get it?
Yeah.
You're the problem.
I got some in the back. I'm happy to share. So that's like it's very difficult to fully describe.
Yeah, but it is interesting. So you kind of think, we're used to this idea of a potion that can make you young again. But Elizabeth Sparkle in her 50s exists alongside the young Elizabeth Sparkle.
Yes.
And played by Margaret Qualley.
Yes.
Different actors. Did you cast her? Were you responsible for casting her as the young you?
No, I think our director, Corley, was looking for a right match, but in fact not wanting us to look identical. So she chose a taller, blue-eyed version of me, which I can say I always wanted blue eyes.
Oh, there you go.
I wanted longer legs.
Yeah.
But, what's interesting in the film, just to kind of give in more seriousness, is that, that idea of the pursuit of perfection leading us down a road where we then only decay further away from being able to embrace the beauty of all that we are in the present moment.
Yeah. And I suppose we ought to flag up that is a proper full-on body horror. I mean, there is blood.
Yes.
Blood.
There's about 30 gallons.
Not exaggerated.
No, for real.
There is
For
a
real,
lot of
30
blood in
gallons.
this film.
Where did they keep the blood on set?
It was in a fire. They did.
The obvious question.
She used it with a fire hose.
Really?
Yeah.
See, aren't you glad I asked?
You haven't
Yes.
gotten to that scene yet. You haven't gotten to the
Yeah.
scene. But I think it's dealing with some really interesting subject matter. But
Yeah.
the best way I can sum it up is it's kind of like the picture of Dorian Gray meets Death Becomes Her and a Jane Fonda workout.
That is the movie. That is the movie.
Sums it up.
And your performance is so intense and visceral. We've got a clip here. Set it up for us. I think you're going on a date. You've
I'm
decided.
just getting ready for a regular date. So this is a moment where she has like an offer to ultimately allow her to almost escape the self-imposed prison of her own isolation. And she's been asked out, and it's a moment of true compare and despair where, which we've all had, where you go, you're looking, let me just try to fix this. No, let me change that. And the more we try to make it better, we just make it worse.
Here it is. Wow. So intense.
Both of our sequences, it's all about lipstick tonight.
Oh, yeah.
It's all about the lipstick.
You must be so proud of this movie.
I think I'm really moved by the fact that it actually has the potential of laying a few pavers down for a cultural shift. I don't think any one thing creates that shift, but I think the way in which we look at ourselves, the way in which we hold ourselves, it's important to find the love and the value and appreciation for who we are as we are in whatever moment we're in, and I hope that this can kind of help move that needle.
I think it's really interesting, that idea of, body image and being vulnerable. It kind of goes back to that incredible, iconic moment when you were on the cover of Vanity Fair. Were we 7 months? 7 months pregnant?
She is 7.5 months pregnant.
Wow. I mean, that has become such a kind of, it was a real moment. The fuss at the time.
Big iconic.
Yeah. And was this your idea?
Well, this wasn't actually, we were shooting this at the end of the shoot just for me. It wasn't for the magazine. And I said at that moment, wow, wouldn't it be great if they, could use this for the cover? And then 2 weeks later, Annie Leibovitz called and said, hey, what do you think? And I was like, amazing. I mean, I didn't know it would have such an impact.
And it's been so replicated and...
I mean, the thing is, it's not like I was the first person, but it's the idea that we've lived in times where once you were that big pregnant, you weren't supposed to remind anybody that you'd ever had sex.
Literally, you reminded everyone.
I did. Yes.
And who's in there? Is that Scout in there?
That's Scout.
And how old was Scout when Scout figured out, oh, I'm on the cover of Vanity Fair?
Oh, they saw it right away. They loved it. It's part of the reason I did it was for them, not even for me.
Yeah.
It's for each of them. I did it with Annie, with all three of my children.
And I heard you talking about reading the script for The Substance, and you said it reminded you of reading the script for Ghost.
Yeah, because there's something about, when read The Substance, I thought, wow, this could be really amazing. Or it could be a fucking disaster. And so, of course, I had to say yes. And I feel like Ghost was very similar. It's like, okay, we're going to do a comedy, a thriller, and a romance. Okay. But I think when we push ourselves out of our comfort zone, when we do things that make us a little afraid, it always makes us a little better. Even if it fails.
And wasn't there a moment when like the reviews came out for Ghost, you kind of thought, uh-oh, it's not going well?
The reviews were disastrous.
Yeah.
For Ghost.
And then people loved it, yeah.
That makes no sense.
They were
Were they really?
They were awful. They were awful.
Because it'll survive decades, it'll keep going. Yeah.
Forever.
But it was they were awful, and I thought, wow, I can't trust myself because I actually thought I saw something that was good.
And I love that you are a proper collector. You've kept the pottery you made.
Okay, let's not go wild. My piece of pottery looks like a kindergartner. I mean, literally, my pots are pitiful, but
Well, he kept coming up behind you, so you've got to concentrate, and it's crazy hugging you.
Yes, you're right. That did make it
Reduces the
difficult.
quality of the work. But that wasn't your fault.
Good point. Thank
It wasn't your
you.
fault.
I appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah. Are they on display in your house?
I have them tucked away.
Okay. Do you always save things from movies? Like, did you keep anything from The Substance?
I do. I have when people see the film, you'll see the drug that we're given is this, kind of fluorescent green, yellow substance, and it says the activator on it, and I have one of those.
Fantastic. Listen, it's terrific. I hope people flock to the cinema to see it. The Substance. It's out cinemas now. Okay, we're moving on. Colin Farrell. Oh, sorry.
No, we're still just talking.
Okay.
Start.
Right, Colin Farrell is the Penguin. Critically acclaimed, already a huge viewing hit. The first episode is already out there, and new episodes drop on Monday on Sky and Now. Now, we first saw you as the Penguin in the movie, the Robert Pattinson movie. So it begins, is it a week after the end of the first movie?
Yeah, so the end of the first film, the Batman film, the Riddler exploded the city walls that keeps the water back, and the place is flooded, and it's about a week after that. Carmine Falcone has been shot, who was played by John Turturro, and he was kind of the main criminal underlord in Gotham. So there's a power vacuum that people are struggling to fill, and Oz, who I played the Penguin, is someone who always has felt less than and felt outside of the experience that he felt he should be living in. He's somewhat crippled. He's got a club foot, pretty severe club foot on his right foot. A lot of tragedy in his background, which the show, because it has 8 hours, is allowed to get into, and it's his rise, his ascension to power through greed and avarice and brutality.
No, I've watched episode 1. It's just phenomenal. Have you guys seen it yet?
I have. It's incredible.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, the whole world is incredible. What you went through to be able to transform is incredible. I mean,
It's extraordinary. The makeup team, I have to shout out to a gentleman, well, I use the loosely, by the name of Mike Marino, who created, thank you, who created, take it where I can, who created the whole thing. It was Mike's, because I know that some people have said, why would they cast you and then just bury you and not have, why wouldn't they get an actor that, doing somebody out of a job? But the thing
do you
was,
think maybe it's because they want to know that it's somebody attractive under there? I mean, I'm just saying.
What are you trying to say? Thanks for the question. What are you trying to say?
I mean,
No, I honestly, it was thank you. It was Mike Marino's genius as an artist. So it was kind of like the creation of the character was a collective of a load of people, people that designed the body. That was totally his imagination. Yeah.
Was that hard to the makeup every day? Did you ever panic or?
Panic, like panic attack?
Yeah,
panic?
exactly.
No, not in makeup, just as myself. But I did, like, the way it's hard to say it's hard because you know what hard life actually is. So
Yeah.
we do what we do. So, but I will say that by the end of it, I was a bit miserable.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was kind of like even when I remember my sister being on the set and going back to the trailer and saying to Claudine, my sister, am I being a dick on the set? And she's like, no. And I said, okay, good, because I just was angry. I was just angry by the end of it. And I remember looking up Jim Carrey.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember hearing a story that Jim Carrey struggled when he was doing
Grinch.
Life. No, when he was doing, we all do, when he was doing The Grinch, yeah. And that he struggled so hard that Ron Howard, the director of The Grinch, spent a day in the makeup just to see what it felt like. And I remember there should have been like a support group for people in prosthetics.
Yeah.
Because I would have been,
No, I
hi,
think
my name's Colin and
he
I'm
got
covered.
guys who
Oh, he did. He got Navy SEALs or FBI guys.
Who undergoes torture
Yeah,
to
calm
counsel
himself.
him about how to get through
To
it.
calm himself and how to work on his breath. So I never got to Jim Carrey's level. So many ways in life.
Season 2.
So many ways in life. But I did struggle by the end of it just in my own noggin, and the material was really dark as well. I'd never done anything like that.
Was it as dark as Banshees, or?
Yeah, darker, because there's love in Banshees. You know, Banshees is kind of love unanswered. You know, it's the pain of that. And even though there's the mutilation.
I love that movie.
Thanks a million.
Oddly, I do like kind of like to meditate to that movie.
To Banshees,
Yeah, is that
twisted
weird?
puppy. Really?
I know, my man
What
comes
way,
over
like
and he's
a
like,
lotus
why?
position? No, that's
Yeah,
what
just,
scene?
I think it's actually just the tone of the film. And the scene.
The scenery is beautiful.
It's
There's a
gorgeous.
certain
Yeah,
whimsy
yeah,
to it, and the music, Carter Burwell, yeah.
And in terms of watching your performance in this, I mean, I was saying to you backstage, you do forget, in the first kind of 15 minutes, you keep going, wow, that's Colin Farrell. And then you kind of forget about it, and you're just watching a drama. When we are looking at this man, so is any of that you?
Well, that's me needing a bowel movement and realising that it takes, you can tell by the expression, and realising it takes 2 hours to get out of the bodysuit.
Yeah.
But can I ask, do they do your hands as well?
My hands were the only thing that was me. It was a full bodysuit. It was 3 hours of makeup in the morning and about 40 minutes to take it off.
So we can see your eyes.
How do you go to the bathroom? I'm just curious.
I don't eat breakfast or lunch. That's the most civilised way to answer that.
No, literally, because
But for a piss, yeah, because I had to drink piles of water because I was sweating
Yeah.
crazy. So I just, you'd need to have your sat
'cause I
nav
couldn't
to find yourself,
On top of it all,
Just a bit of button and a pad and a flap and a...
Yeah.
But I have very similar stuff as well.
You know what I'm talking
It's
about.
just for safety.
Yes.
And so the eye, what about the mouth? Are the teeth yours?
The teeth, all but one. I have a gold tooth that was just a clip-on, yeah. I mean, it was so comprehensive, the whole thing. And to look at myself in the mirror, in the trailer, and see that staring back at me was very powerful.
So you're in all the prosthetics. You're looking out of this thing.
Yeah.
Onto this dark world.
That's
onto
what it
this
felt like,
violence.
looking out in a different way. Yeah.
So what was that like when you went home then?
It was weird. It was funny you say looking out because I was in a sauna one night in New York and a public bathhouse and
bathhouse?
yeah, all legit.
Don't ask. Don't ask.
It's called the bathhouse. It's a lovely place, and I was there. I was there one night, and a fella looked at me, and it was after a long.
You did.
After a long day on the Penguin, and I looked back at him, and I realised I was looking at him in the same way I felt my look during work, and I just when you do it so long, it comes home with you. It should come home with you if you love what you're doing. It's okay to bring your work home. You can't inflict it on those you love that you share a house with.
Yeah.
But it's okay for it to come home a little bit, I think. But anyway, I looked at the guy, and I realised I was looking as Oz looks, and it felt like that, and he just kind of went like that, and I don't know if he thought I wanted to fight him or. I never asked, but there was something kind of very powerful about the Makeup Man that it did take a hold of the mood if you gave yourself over to it. And you talk about moments of purity in the work and stuff. You give yourself over to it, and the writing's good. Yeah. It takes over. It's lovely. Your imagination comes online, and that's it.
Well, for people who haven't seen it, let's have a little bibs. This is you as Oz Cobb meeting Sophia Falcone, played by Christine Melotti. Melotti? I'm saying Melotti.
That'll do.
Yeah, here we go.
Was that a yes or... Sophia, please, join us.
Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Do you remember Carmine's daughter? Yeah. Sophia, I thought you was still at,
Arkham?
Yeah.
No. I've been rehabilitated.
I was born in New York.
You were from that part of the world.
You nailed it.
All right, cool.
You nailed it. That was
That's
uncanny.
one of a sauna, I've got to say.
I lost that much weight. It's a good thing I didn't wear the suit in. I would have melted.
And also, I love the link in the worlds, because Arkham, where Sophia's been,
totally.
is where Joker and you are.
Yeah, and it sounds like
What a big happy
they exist.
family.
It's one big dysfunctional disaster. It sounds like they inhabit a similar space. The story is a lot of uncertainty in the lives and the psychology.
I'm so excited to see your movie.
I'm excited to see yours too. Yeah,
so
big time.
excited.
Big time.
I'm a really big fan of your work, and I mean everybody here.
Sure, thank you.
I mean honestly, it's true. I mean it.
Take it.
I mean it.
Just remind continues his journey as the Penguin on Sky and Now each Monday. That's the takeaway here. That's the takeaway. Now, Richard Ayoade has written a book, everybody. Yes, he has. Now, bear with. So, this is called The Unfinished Harold Hughes. It's out on the 3rd of October. So, let's begin with who is Harold Hughes?
Well, Harold Hughes is a hugely important playwright, British playwright, post-war. I stumbled across his work in a bookshop, and I saw that he looked very much like me, so I was hugely interested.
This is a painting of Harold Hughes.
This is a painting. He looks quite like me.
He does look quite like you.
He looks a lot like me. Yeah, thank you. And it's like picture of Dorian Gray.
Yes,
it's very similar. And so the book is sort of like a mock documentary about my journey to find Harold Hughes. Harold Hughes didn't exist. I should make this clear.
This is so complicated.
There's a lot of tension. And so the book is really about this kind of ridiculous character who stopped writing. And there's a mystery as to why he stopped writing. And I'm trying to find out why he stopped writing.
Okay, but now, so here's the thing. So this is the journey of your documentary to solve the mystery of Harold Hughes.
Yes.
Who has written lots of screenplays, novels, poetries, all sorts of stuff. But those books exist.
Yes.
So you've also written all of Harold Hughes' screenplays.
Right. Yes.
And you've written, this is the complete works of his plays, prose, pieces, and poetry.
Yes.
And these are 3 novellas.
Right, yes.
And there's words in there.
No, these are real books. With beautiful pictures of Harold Hughes on the back.
Now, is this the script that you're wanting Colin to play you?
No, that's a different script.
That would be a
That's
whole different
Stronger, more original.
We've got the we've got the prosthetics worked out. Though. And don't worry, it's racially sensitive. You won't get into trouble. I wrote everything that Harold Hughes wrote in order first because I had a lot of time on my hands.
I think Demi Moore would like to get a can opener and look in your brain.
Thank you.
Yes.
It is fascinating. So you wrote all of this first?
Yes, all of. And
why?
Because I needed to sort of find out who he was by what he wrote. The one question does suggest, why did you bother?
No.
This is a key question. This is an important question. But I've always wanted to do a thing whereby you do a story about someone and then you do all of the things that they did. So you create a complete fictional world, kind of like a Salinger Glass family world, or like Spinal Tap. I genuinely love their records. I love Spinal Tap records, and I like the documentary, and where sort of comic worlds can kind of go out and become bigger. So that was the idea.
Is there anything, I'm sure so much of you is in all of this work, but like, is there any like exact like anecdote or in the stories that's from your real life?
Yes, in terms of how lots of people find the character frustrating, I've taken that from my life. So, yeah,
But did you discover anything about yourself through this?
Well, this is the thing. The book really is about whether you should keep writing. And in a way, I've answered that question with those books. So I'm announcing my retirement from writing, and this is it.
Now, this is exciting because I believe you brought one of Harold's poems with you.
Yes, Harold wrote a lot of very muscular and powerful poetry, as well as, you know, his very important films. And I have asked Colin if he would accompany. It's a two-hander.
Yes.
It's a two-hander poem.
Will you do it? It's called The Breakdown, the poem.
I would love to.
Okay.
Thank you.
So now I think you've each got a camera that you can look at.
I'll be playing Colin.
Sorry, I have to get into character because sorry.
Okay, sorry.
Here we go. It didn't take 4.5 hours, mate. Don't blow this.
All right. Okay. So I think Richard is 6 and Colin is 3.
I'll try and do Harold Hughes' voice as well, so don't be alarmed.
Okay.
Okay.
And what's it called again?
It's called The Breakdown.
The Breakdown.
Can we say it together?
Yes.
That'd be nice. 1, 2, 3. The Breakdown.
Here we go.
Have you broken down?
I have broken down.
Where did the event take place?
It took place near my home.
How far from your home were you when the event took place?
I don't know how to get to my home.
Was the breakdown sudden or were there warnings?
No one warned me.
Are you with anyone or are you on your own?
I am on my own.
Was anyone else involved?
No one else is involved.
Well, would you like to stay where you are until we arrive?
I would like to be home.
We are quite busy. Are you okay to wait?
I have time, but I'm not okay.
Are you insured?
I am not insured.
And what kind of car is your car?
I am not in a car.
Well, perhaps it's better to stay in the car.
I do not have a car.
You do realize this is AA.
I know who you are.
We help people who have broken down.
I have broken down.
People who have broken down in their cars.
And what about those who haven't?
I'll come back out of character now.
Average Ayoade, everybody! Okay, it is time for music. This man is one of our favorite singer-songwriters who's really gone back to his roots with his first all-Italian album, Miss Italia, performing Bada Bing Bada Boom with Miles Kane. Please welcome Jack Savaretti!
I'm at the border once again, somewhere I've never even been. A flag is burning in the night, it's just another sign that I'm always on the run, I'm always on the run. Like an old-fashioned movie, where the ending's always you. If tonight you wanna stay, it's up to me to get away. Just like I always do. Bada bing, bada boom, a questo ballo. Io ballo solo, a passo d'uomo. Bada bing, bada boom, a questo ballo. Io ballo solo, ma se ti trovo. Bada bing, bada. Go ahead and turn the light on. There's nothing here for me to see. I've never been afraid of dying with the sound of your crying that terrifies me. Like an old-fashioned movie where the ending's always you. If tonight you wanna stay, it's up to me to get away, just like I always do. Bada bing, bada boom, a questo ballo, io ballo solo, a passo d'uomo. Bada bing, bada boom, a questo ballo, io ballo solo, ma se ti trovo. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bing, bada boom, bada bing. C'è chi parte, c'è chi torna, c'è chi non ritorna mai. C'è chi parte, c'è chi torna, c'è chi non ritorna mai. C'è chi parte, c'è chi torna, c'è chi non ritorna mai. C'è chi parte, c'è chi torna, c'è chi non ritorna mai. Io ballo solo, a passo d'uomo. Bada bing, bada boom, a questo ballo. Io ballo solo, ma se ti trovo. Bada bing, bada boom. Bada bing, bada boom. Bada bing, bada boom. Bada bing, bada boom. Bada bing, bada boom.
So great! Jack, come on over here. Yes! Oh! Hey! I don't know what Italian people do. There you go. Sure. There we go. Holland, me, and Eddie Gaga. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, no, not at all. That
This is a
off the,
vain attempt to make me look less handsome, by the way.
See more intelligent.
Yes, the context is bad for me at the moment.
So, that is off Miss Italia, the new album, which is out now. And so, this is your first all-Italian album. We should say, so that's the English
translated that
version.
for you.
Yeah, that's the English version, because we're too thick to do the Italian. But so, why an album all in Italian?
To be honest, it was the first album I've ever had to do rather than chose to do. My father's Italian, hence Savoretti, and he passed away 2.5 years ago. And that was the first experience I ever had of grief. And the psychological and emotional element of it I was able to deal with, but the physical side of it shocked me. The pain, the feeling it in your bones and your skin.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it got me to a point where it was so painful that I stopped feeling anything. I became rather numb. And the only thing that moved me was Italian music. It was when I would listen to Italian music, which has this thing, and it would make me feel like his presence was there. I would find my own sort of sense of feeling. And it would move me to tears, to laughter, to singing at the top of my lungs. And I just remember thinking, I need a lot more of this in my life right now. And so I wrote an Italian album.
A question from Miss Gaga.
Sorry. Is there one song that you think your dad would have loved the most off your album?
Oh, man. Yes, there is, because there's only one song he heard, which was, I never planned, like I said, on writing an Italian album. It wasn't a choice. It was like a necessity thing. But there was one song I wrote at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I would usually phone him at 3 o'clock in the morning when I was staying up too late and just chat about life. And I said, I've written my first Italian song. He said it was okay. It's the song that means the, yeah, it sounds like Italian, but it's the song that means the most. It's the first song on the album.
And I love your life. Your life is so mad, because I follow you on Instagram. Like, you were just doing these... Yeah,
of course you do. We actually write to each other.
And you were just doing these huge shows in... Was it Greece you were just doing big
Greece,
shows?
but we were blown away. We went to Romania. You've played everywhere, but the audiences in Bucharest, we went to Bulgaria, Sofia. These are parts of Eastern Europe that are still not super open to a lot of live music. So when you go, the energy, the feeling you get from a crowd... For someone like, we don't always play to big crowds like this, so that already in itself is unique. But when you get that unique, genuine, like, they're there because they feel this. Like, it's a release.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that was, for us, very much of a first-time experience.
Well, people
We're still riding that wave, the band
Well,
is still
people in the UK get to have that experience. Is it next February?
Yeah, but that's just kind of me alone. It's a whole different experience.
So stay home, everyone. Jack just wants to be by himself. I'll come. Who's in tonight? Just Jack.
It'll be like that. It'll be me alone with a lot of guests in different cities.
Beautiful. That sounds cool, man.
It'll be good, right?
It'll be awesome.
Yeah.
And what I was saying was it'll be different. It'll be wonderful.
Listen, Jack, thank you so much for that beautiful performance. Good luck with the album and that tour. Jack Severetti, everybody!
Thank you so much.
Gorgeous. Okay, that is nearly it. Before we go, just time for the first visit of the new series to the big red chair. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. What's your name?
Brett Dunbar.
Brett Dunbar. We have the full name and address here. We just go with first names because people Google. You've got to find them on Facebook and are really abusive afterwards. So we'll just say Brett. Brett. Yeah. Now I hear an accent. Where are you from?
Originally from South Africa.
Okay, but you live here now?
Yes, in Walton-on-Thames.
Okay, full address again. Brett wants to be found. Live location. All right, Brett. What do you do?
I'm a communications manager for a company.
All right, Brett, off you go with your story.
Right, so I was in South Africa with my best friend. We were at a lodge, and we were students, no money, and we really only had money for beer and cigarettes. So we decided to go to a lodge, and we were on this beautiful gorge, and my friend Roxanne said, "Oh, look, Brett, it's a monkey." And I looked and I said, "No, Rox, that's a baboon. We need to go." So we slowly backed away, and we were the only ones on this gorge, literally looking between death and this baboon. And he came up, sat on our table. He ate every single one of our cigarettes, except hers, because they were the cheap brand. Then he put his muzzle into our beers, downed both of them, and then, after a good time, just urinated all over the table.
I'm flipping. I want to more.
2 years sober now, the baboon.
Also, if that had happened in Hyde Park, an amazing story.
You're on safari in a lodge.
Yeah, you're on a gorge in South Africa. Of course there's a baboon. Okay, that really is all the time for. If you'd like to go in the red chair yourself and tell your story, you can contact us via our website at this very address. Please say a huge thank you to all of my guests tonight. Jack Severetti and Miles Kane. Richard Ayoade. Colin Farrell. Demi and Lady Gaga. Join me next week with musical guest Perry, top comedian Greg Davies, music icon Nana Cherry, Hollywood star Sebastian Stan, and the one and only Hugh Grant. I'll see you then. Good night, everybody. Bye.